investors, I don't know whether tax implications are matter here as much as just a happy and readily available, educated workforce and room to expand and cheaper housing for all your employees. All of those things, you check all those boxes in this move.
You nailed it, Joe. The future, obviously the competitive lines for Tesla is twofold. It's AI engineers. That's why they did AI Day a month ago. They said the applicants for AI engineers went up 100x after that event, and separately manufacturing, which is cheap land and some maybe easier policy regulatory environments. Texas has both of that. Score a big win for Texas here. I guess you should be long Texas, but it plays into this bigger theme about the great reshuffling hitting Silicon Valley. I just want to give you a quick data point. This morning, I went on Zillow and looked at a 5-mile radius around housing prices at their Palo Alto headquarters. That's where their headquarters are. The manufacturing's in Fremont, but the actual where a lot of people work is in Palo Alto. And the average price per home per square foot was $2,000. So a 2,000 square foot home is $4 million. That just simply isn't sustainable. So to your point, Joe, is Austin, the prices are up and to the right. I did not get a chance to look at price per square foot in Austin. I know it's less, and that's just it. They got to bring in great talent. An average AI engineer makes about $200,000 to $250,000 a year. So $4 million house is just a really hard task to pull off. And Tesla's making the move to accommodate that. And we're going to see other companies do it.
It's got other businesses down there. That probably plays into it as well. Do you think there, can you talk about Cathie Wood moving to Florida? And I don't know, we are seeing a lot of relocations based sometimes on the tax situation. Is that reading too much into this, Gene? Or
I think that's probably a step that probably plays into a benefit to recruiting when you say you have lower tax rates. And so I think it does play into it. I think it plays into the broader cost of living question. And, again, we have seen that we can continue to work remotely. We can continue to move in different directions in terms of work and play, education. I think that we're seeing that. And I think the states that are going to benefit the most are ones with lower taxes. Elon was quick to stay out of the political conversation on this. I think some of his views line up with some of the politics in Texas as well.
Andrew wants to get in, but I haven't been able to ask you. I asked Phil LeBeau. Tesla has disrupted so much of the way the business was done in the automobile industry. And I just wonder, is it possible to disrupt the impulse buy, not impulse buy, but wow, I love the look of that new that car, and I like the way they changed it, and I want to get it, because the S, it's been how many years has the S looked the same? And it looked great to start, and everybody's copied it. But does Elon Musk never have to refresh that or update it or get a car that just looks cooler than that? Do people buy Teslas for different reasons now? That's been disrupted as well, Gene?
I think it has. I mean, the S got a mild update with the Plaid version. But to your point, is the substance of it is unchanged for a decade since it began. There is, as far as kind of what they can do to try to motivate other buyers just quickly, is that they have other products coming too. They said this at the shareholder meeting. They're going to be doing a minibus. They kind of made some jokes about a VW minibus. Maybe that means a Caravan. I'm not sure. I know maybe you're a big fan of outdoorsman, Joe. They're coming out with an ATV. They're working on that. That's likely going to be produced in Texas. They have this Model 2 coming out. So when you think about kind of really sparking demand, I think they're going to have something for everybody down the road. They said that they're going to have a car for every vehicle variant in the future.
Hey, Gene, real quick, in terms of the tax story here. They're going to still pay taxes in California. And if they're growing in the Fremont area, they're going to continue to do that as well. What I was actually going to add, and I appreciate the point, obviously, around the cost of living and whatnot in Texas and the ability for them to have probably cheaper manufacturing. When it comes to AI, you were talking about AI. Do you imagine that most of those engineers will end up in Texas? or will actually maintain or stay in California?
I bet most of them will be in Texas. I mean, the ones that they have today are going to probably stick around. Majority of them will probably stick around. They have kids in schools and that they'll stay. But I think when you talk about recruiting in this push, I mean, they're talking about increasing their AI engineers by 4 to 5x for the next several years. I suspect that most of those are going to be at the new headquarters in Austin.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.